The Mandalorian Season 3 is over, and with the fandom pretty split on the finale of this season and this season as a whole, the question needs to be asked, is The Mandalorian Season 3 good or bad? Now, if you stick around to the end of this video, I will explain whether or not I think it was a good or bad season, and why right now is the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, and smash a like on this video if you thought this season of The Mandalorian was good. But if you thought this season was bad, I'm going to have to ask you to smash a like on this video as well. Now, the answer to the question, was this season good or bad, is not that simple. Many fans have their own opinions, and most of them are garbage. I mean, respectable opinions that I respect very dearly. But in all seriousness, there is no denying that this season was a major step down from season 2, but it still has the fan base talking about Star Wars. So first, let's talk about the good. The Mandalorian Season 3 brought many storylines from Season 1 and 2, and even the Book of Boba Fett, to a close. Many fans were saying how the finale actually seemed like a real ending, because there was no tease to what is to come next, and it was kind of a happy ending with all the Mandalorians back together on their home world of Mandalore. But the reason Season 3 actually seemed like an ending is because it kind of was. If you look at The Mandalorian as like phase 1 of the Mandoverse, or a trilogy because it is 3 seasons, then it makes a lot of sense that this phase of the Mandoverse is over. In the Ahsoka show, which is the next project for this Mandoverse, is going to be extremely different from what we have been seeing in the first 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and even the Book of Boba Fett. The Ahsoka show is going to change the story drastically. It's going to bring us to a new spot in the Star Wars galaxy called the New Beyond, where Thrawn and Ezra have been stuck for all these years. And now that Moff Gideon is gone, there needs to be a new big bad, and that of course is going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he's going to make Moff Gideon look like a punk-ass which again is why Season 3 was such a great ending. It tied all of these stories from the first 2 seasons together. And while doing that, even teased out what is to come in the next phase with Grand Admiral Thrawn, with the First Order, with Force-sensitive clones, which will of course lead into Supreme Leader Snoke. So all of the Season 1 and 2 story about Moff Gideon wanting Grogu's blood for cloning with Dr. Pershing was resolved. Also, Din going from badass bounty hunter who doesn't trust droids and doesn't care about anybody, to someone who eventually adopts Grogu, now Din Grogu, and feels safe enough with droids to actually put the person he cares about most inside of a droid. And of course, the name of the show, The Mandalorian, has finally brought together all of the Mandalorians that have been scattered around the galaxy since Season 1. He's brought them back together and brought them to their home world and reclaimed that home world from the Empire. From the main villain of the first 3 seasons, or the first phase of the Mandoverse, Moff Gideon, who is now dead. For good. At least we think.
No one's ever really gone.
Another very good thing about Season 3 was the action. We've got some of the best action we've seen in a long time from Star Wars, and some of the best action in this entire series in this last season. From Din flying his N1 starfighter fighting against the pirates in Episode 1, to Kelleran Beck fighting clone troopers in the Jedi Temple during Order 66, to the Mandalorian covert fighting the pirates on Navarro, to Paz Vizsla dying to the Praetorian Guards, to of course the finale, which was jam-packed with action. The fight between the Mandalorians and the Imperial troopers in Beskar flying through the sky was so unbelievably cool. And of course, can't forget Din Djarin's hallway scene. The action in this season was just spectacular. Another good thing from this 3rd season goes all the way back to the Clone Wars. The revival of the Mandalorian people and the return to their home planet of Mandalore. Many fans of Star Wars have been waiting for this since the Clone Wars. And most people notice that in the sequel trilogy, you don't see a single Mandalorian, and of course, they don't go to the planet of Mandalore. However, it is very likely that still, during the events of the sequel trilogy, the Mandalorian people are still rebuilding, and before long, they will be a powerhouse in the galaxy again. Whether that is to fight off Grand Admiral Thrawn when he shows up with his undead army, or if that's after the sequel trilogy in a post-sequel world. I believe the future of Star Wars is still going to heavily tie to the Mandalorian people. Now, the Mythosaur. Enough said. teasing this creature to be tamed by Din Grogu at a later date, maybe in that Mandalorian movie that Dave Filoni is directing that is supposed to be released in 2026. The list of good things about this season goes on and on and on, but there is also the bad. Like I said earlier, this season is a major step down from season 2. And what definitely did not help that was the almost 2.5-year wait that we had to sit through to get this third season. And I would have been okay with waiting that long to see this third season, but there should not have been any filler episodes. I believe that in an 8-episode series, there should be zero room for filler episodes. And I also believe that the Ahsoka show, which comes out in August, is going to have zero filler episodes, and it's just going to be straight fire the entire time. But this third season of The Mandalorian was no stranger to the filler episode. Episode 3 was the longest episode of the entire series and followed Dr. Pershing around on Coruscant for about 45 minutes, which all just led to his mind being wiped. And now looking back on it, seemed like a big waste of time and took us away from the main characters of the story. And then you have episode 6, which is hands down the worst time to have a side mission. Many fans argue that the Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd cameos took them out of the episode, and episode 5 leaving us on a cliffhanger of Moff Gideon being rescued from the New Republic prison transport by Mandalorians. Many people believed that the next episode was going to involve Moff Gideon and who helped him escape and all that other fun stuff, but no, it was a Jack Black, Lizzo, Christopher Lloyd cameo fest. And like I said, the worst time ever for a side mission. Another bad thing about this season was Din Djarin taking a back seat. The Mandalorian is the name of the show, and many people go back and forth on whether or not that is referring to Din Djarin or Grogu, but either way, both of those characters took a back seat in this season. Throughout the season, it seemed like Bo Katan had to come save Din Djarin's ass many times over again. Of course, until the finale when he was badass and had his hallway scene, fought against Moff Gideon, fought against the Praetorian Guards, it was awesome. But that still doesn't really make up for the rest of the season where Din Djarin was on the sidelines rooting for Bo Katan. Also, Moff Gideon not showing up till the last 2 episodes. Moff Gideon's story wrapped up really nicely in this third season, but it was so fast. We got the answers to all the questions about Moff Gideon, what he was trying to do this entire time. We got to see the Shadow Council and how strong the actual remnant of the Empire really is. But it was only in the last 2 episodes. We should have gotten a lot more of Moff Gideon. So this third season of The Mandalorian was not perfect by any means, but I believe the good outweighs the bad by a lot. And personally, I had a great time with this third season, especially those last 2 episodes. And like I said at the top of the video, right now is the best time ever to be a Star Wars fan. Coming off The Mandalorian Season 3, however you felt about it, we still have Jedi Survivor in a week. We have Star Wars Visions Season 2 on May 4th. We have the Ahsoka show in August, the Skeleton Crew show to end the year, and that is only projects this year. Because next year we go into Tales of the Jedi Season 2, we go into the Acolyte show, we go into the Bad Batch Season 3, and probably The Mandalorian Season 4, the Andor show Season 2, and of course, 3 movies on the horizon. There are so many shows, games, and movies to look forward to as a Star Wars fan right now, so I say, with certainty, right now is the greatest time ever to be a Star Wars fan. Because not only can you go back and watch the entire Skywalker saga, all these spin-off shows and all that other stuff, but the Star Wars timeline is about to expand in a very major way, with Dawn of the Jedi projects 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga, with the Acolyte, which is a few hundred years before the Skywalker saga, and even content after the Skywalker saga, with of course the movie coming out in 2025 with the new Jedi Order. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Did you think this Mandalorian Season 3 was good or bad? And are you excited for Star Wars for the rest of this year and even the years to come? Tell me in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. The Mandalorian Season 3 is over, but by all means, that does not mean Star Wars is done. We got a lot to look forward to as Star Wars fans. And if you want more videos like this, leaks and rumor videos, breakdown videos, and of course, 3 live streams every week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, stick around this channel by hitting that subscribe, and may the Force be with you. Always.